Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Colin, and today I'll be talking about the Fosi Audio ZP3 Preamp. There are already tons of video about the ZP3, so I'm not going to just repeat what others said. Instead, I'll show you 3 quirks I found when testing the ZP3 that I don't see many people talking about. At the end, I'll share my thoughts on how it actually sounds in my system. Before we get into the quirks, a quick message from this video's sponsor, AliExpress. They're running their anniversary sale from the 10th to the 20th of March, and depending on your region, you can get the ZP3 for as low as $135. Remember to use the coupon codes in the description to get the best price. Okay, with that out of the way, let me walk you through the 3 quirks I ran into while testing the ZP3. First is the volume control knob. It's an issue that is widely talked about when the ZP3 first released. A lot of people were confused by the volume knob as it had a marker on it that didn't actually reflect the actual volume level of the ZP3. The volume knob on the ZP3 is actually a free spinning knob. So the physical knob doesn't have a maximum and minimum level to it, leading to confusion and sudden volume spikes in the first place. But what I wanted to tell you isn't the issue itself, it's that Fosi actually changed the knob. After hearing the feedback, Fosi actually changed the knob to a knob with no markers to better match the functions of the knob. While the earlier batches look like this on the packaging, the ZP3s you buy now will have a plain knob. Personally, I never had an issue with the volume control, as my unit came with the new knob, and I have a habit of turning down the volume by a few clicks before I turn off the ZP3, but it's nice to know that Fosi listened to the feedback and modified the product accordingly. The second thing is the high-pass filter switches. When I was testing the ZP3, I was really confused on why the high-pass filters weren't working when I was trying to integrate my subwoofer. I hear the internal relays click when switching, but no matter what position the switch was on, it was sending a full range signal to the lineouts. I later found out that you need to enable the tone controls in order to be able to use the high-pass filters. The high-pass filters are actually a part of the tone control circuit. It was confusing as it only said you had to enable tone controls to use tone controls in the manual, but it never said it had anything to do with the high-pass filters. So if you get the ZP3, just make sure you know you need to enable tone controls to use high-pass filters. The last and third thing is the tone controls and subwoofer out. The tone control knobs do not have an effect on the subwoofer output. So let's say you have your subwoofer integrated and playing, and if you turn the bass knob to the minimum, you will decrease the bass output of your mains by up to 10 dB, but the sub will still be playing at normal bass volume. Similarly, if you increase the bass knob, only the mains will follow, and the sub will be playing at a consistent level. This is actually my biggest complaint about the ZP3. It feels strange to use tone controls and hear the mains change while the sub completely ignores those adjustments. There is a workaround though. You can connect the subwoofer to the line out instead of the sub out. In that case, the tone controls will affect your sub. The trade-off is that you will lose the built-in high-pass filtering on the main speakers. So you need to rely on external filtering if you need it. Whether this is a deal breaker really depends on how much you rely on tone controls or if you use an external sub or not. With the quirks out of the way, now let's talk about the sound quality. I've used the ZP3 with both the V3 monos and the ZA3. Most of the time, I did not notice a change in sound when adding the ZP3 into the chain. I tested both single-ended and balanced inputs on the ZP3 using the ZH3 and the SMSL PS200 Pro as sources, and the results were very consistent. I could get plenty of volume from all inputs and the sound stayed clean and transparent. I didn't hear obvious coloration or character, which for a solid-state preamp is exactly what I want. In some specific cases, it did make a clear difference. My phono preamp doesn't have quite enough gain with my cartridge, and when I feed straight into the ZA3, the sound is a bit dull and flat. Putting the ZP3 in between to add gain noticeably improve the dynamics and the overall scale of the sound. One very important feature the ZP3 has is volume memory. It remembers the volume for each input, so when you switch from a low output source, like my phono preamp, to a normal source, you don't get a sudden jump in volume. That makes it much safer and more convenient when you're juggling different devices. In summary, I've been very happy with the Fosi ZP3 Preamp. It's super convenient for switching sources, and having a remote for volume control is a big plus. It sounds clean and transparent, and it does what a balanced preamp needs to do: convert between single-ended and balanced signals and level match different sources. I highly recommend the ZP3 if you're looking for an affordable balanced preamp. My only real complaint is what I mentioned earlier. The tone controls don't integrate with the subwoofer output the way I expected. If you don't use a subwoofer output or tone controls, this won't affect you at all. That's it for my ZP3 review. I hope you found it useful. If you would like to support the channel, feel free to use the affiliate links below to purchase anything you need. It really helps. Thank you very much for watching.